Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of My Big Fat Junk Drawer. It's been a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Just
Mike is back.
because we ripped our voices apart last weekend, and
I didn't. You did.
I think your voice was a little low after the second
I was
series of concerts.
tired.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah. So it's been busy, and I'm tired. Still, we may go off script. Well, it's never scripted here, but off topic.
Yeah, off topic.
It's more off topic than anything.
Yeah.
Because we've got nothing from a junk drawer today.
Nope. Not all. Well, I mean, I guess I could say that my junk drawer has my Metallica patches that I just purchased that I put in the drawer
Or you
because
just put it in a junk drawer?
I just put it in the drawer just because I haven't found a shirt to iron them onto just yet.
Metallica patches, huh?
Yeah.
Would you like to explain a little more about your Metallica patches?
My Metallica patches, I sat in line after traveling to Chicago to go see Metallica for 2 nights out of 3 days. We left, on Tuesday or Wednesday? We left on Wednesday.
I don't even remember.
For a concert that didn't happen till Friday. But we didn't plan it out like a vacation, even though we were there like 3 days before. We left simply early just because so I could stand in the merchandise line at the pop-up tent. Well, the pop-up tent that turned out to be a store in the middle of Chicago City, where people were waiting in line since like 3 o'clock in the morning for a 10 o'clock opening so that they could get one of 150 posters and what they thought was short run t-shirts that it seemed like they just kept running them, and they had a lot of them. We didn't go in line the first day until, which was Thursday, which was a full day before the concert, to sit in line at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just missed the poster. But they were only selling like 150 a day, and me, you, and Emma blew through our vacation money and the first day there just buying t-shirts and junk. And then I sat in line the very next day at 7 o'clock in the morning and made it on time to get one poster.
Let's back this up, shall we? Instead of just vomiting it all out in one really long sentence.
I paused at the appropriate moments.
No, there was no pausing that.
I just went, ma.
Like talking to a man, never can get a word in.
There's the big finger, and here's another one, just in case you didn't hear the first one.
Anyway, 2 years ago, Metallica announced that they're going to do a tour in 5 North American cities?
Something like that.
Something crappy like that. So 2 nights, no repeaters, Friday, Sunday shows. Because it was 2 years ago, I didn't think anything of it. So I was like, I'll just try for these tickets. I'm sure they're going to be too expensive. But I got online, got right in, got nosebleeds for less than $100 a piece. And that's 2 nights total. So it was kind of a deal. So I booked them thinking, it's 2 years out. We don't even have to think about it for 2 years. That's a long way away. Well, 2 years went by.
Actually, it's more like 2 years and like 2.5 years.
In a flash. Because about a month ago, I was like, I guess we should really start thinking about this trip that I never really thought about, because I just thought of it as going to see a concert. But I found cheap flights on Southwest. So we ended up going on a Wednesday. So we were there 5 days with no plan whatsoever.
And no car.
Well, you don't need a car in Chicago.
That was the best part. I walked everywhere or took the train.
You don't need a car in Chicago. Who wants to drive in that? You go, well, first of all, we had a little hiccup when we got there. I've been to Chicago a few times, and I've ridden the train, so I was put in charge of that whole deal. But we got off, we flew to Midway. So the train's right there. And we were staying, our hotel was like right on the South Loop. So it was like super, super simple. So we got on the Orange Line. Well, first of all, we got to the little Ventra vending machine, which is super easy in theory. But the picture of how you put the card in, now, mind you, our flight was really early in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. We were all really tired. And we get to the vending machine. We have our luggage. You're lugging that. When you're in a city, you're just not in a great mood. So I kept putting the card in and it wouldn't work. Like 3 or 4 times. So I was like, turn the card around, because the picture looked like the card should go in one way, but didn't. It went in the opposite way. Finally, we get the card to work. So we go through the little turnstile. Well, Mike had the big suitcase and you can't fit that suitcase through the little turnstile. And if you wait too long, it locks you out.
That was nice.
So the nice man, and I'll preface this by saying Chicago is a great big city to visit if you want a big city feel, but very Midwestern people, because I don't think I met a mean person there. But yeah, the CTA guy was like, you come over here and I'll just buzz you through. So that was our first moments.
So City of Chicago, think of it this way. You need to change your signs on all, because I noticed this on every single one of those credit card machines. Every single one of them has you putting the credit card in the wrong way. So the stripe was on the wrong side.
My anxiety was just getting worse and worse as everyone coming up to the other machines were like, it was like ding, ding. And they were done in a flash and like on their way. And I was sitting there just angry, getting mad, frustrated. And finally it worked. But
Locals paying for their next 3-day pass. That's why.
Yeah, we had to pay for a multi-day. So we got that to work and figured out, honestly, with GPS nowadays on your phone, you can go anywhere. It's so easy to get around Chicago. Oh my God, it's so simple. I don't understand how people are confused by it. So easy. New York, confusing to me.
It might not be anymore. It's been a while.
Oh, no.
You just pin the GPS where your hotel is and then ask it where you want to go next.
True. It may be different. But so we figured out our way to our hotel. And mind you, at this point, it was 9 a.m. Check-in, 4.
That's right. So we had to leave our stuff behind.
So we go to the hotel, very tired already, and the day hasn't begun. Got to the hotel. They had luggage storage, which is great. So we got to unload like our backpacks and stuff and got all that out. And so we were like free until 4. Luckily, across the street was the best Dunkin' Donuts 24-hour Dunkin' that I've ever been to, and a 24-hour Subway. This is what I like about cities.
And then like two stores over, a 24-hour cookie place.
Oh, Insomnia cookies. Yes. Yeah, that's what I like. When you come home from a city, and you come back here, it's a little depressing because you're used to being able to like go out to eat at 10 or 11, maybe later than that at night, and it's not a problem. You come here, you only got Denny's, and that closes. And yeah, so.
And then if they're cleaning, the kitchen's not open for another hour and a half.
Yeah, it's awful. So everything's convenient. But let's see, the first day, I don't even remember. What did we do the first day when we got there?
Got there Wednesday, started going to, and you'll laugh at this, and Amanda and Emma weren't all that thrilled, but I kept wanting to go to iconic locations from Batman movies that had Christian Bale in them. Just to take pictures.
It was oh, that's right. Because you can explain some of the locations, because we ended at Union Station, I think.
Yeah.
Because Emma was like falling asleep on the bench. Union Station was fun because all the Amish people take the train.
Yes.
At Union Station. So we got to see all the Amish people come in and out.
It's not like those aren't around here very often.
No.
But yeah.
But what movie was also filmed in Union Station? A lot of
Union Station, we went to take pictures of like the stairwell from Untouchables.
The Untouchables. That baby carriage scene from Untouchables.
And then there's like a smidgen of a shot from, there's a whole bunch of different spots in the Union Station for that scene for Untouchables. Obviously, they didn't just shoot in the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a smidgen of a spot from the Superman or the Dawn of Justice, or wait, which one is it? Yeah, the Dawn of Justice was Superman versus Batman. But from what I was gathering out of there, it was a scene that they just shot the interior of, and then they put Superman in it because it turns out that this was the courtroom that blown up in that movie. Like Lex Luthor put some kerosene on some guy's wheelchair and blew the whole place up. So it was a smidgen of a scene that someone somewhere, some location scout was like, I like this Chicago spot for it. We'll just go down there and take a B unit camera, shoot what we need to shoot, and walk out.
Yeah, Chicago does have great architecture. And I think also that we did walk by the Sears Tower and just kind of, for the first time, we'll get to the second time later. But yeah, you could look up and see all those crazies leaning out, which Mike is one of the crazies, but
I was one of the crazies. It was great. It was great. These two chickens wouldn't go, but no. I hung out, I leaned against the whole glass. Luckily, because even though I was by myself, the lady who gives you your 90 seconds in the window would take a bunch of pictures for me. She probably took too many, but you could keep going back. Plus, you can walk all the way around the inside of the Sears Tower, which is now called the Willis Tower.
Oh, no. Chicagoans are like, it's Sears Tower.
Yeah, I think so, too. You can walk all the way around it and take pictures of the whole skyline from all the way around. The only problem I found with it, the Sears Tower location, the only sports venue that I could find from there was the United Center where the Bulls used to play. Mm-hmm. But you can't see Wrigley Field or where the White Sox play at all from there. I looked. Trust me, I was digging for it.
I think you missed it.
No, I was digging for it. But Wrigley is kind of hidden, and where the White Sox place should have been closer and it should have been visible, but I just couldn't find it. These two chickens wouldn't go up the elevator. It was 103 floors, but it was a really fun and it was really interesting to see. I told Amanda and Emma to stay down at the bottom and see if they could see me from the top, which all they saw was feet and butts. And then I was like, I'll see if I could see you from the top up there. All I saw was ants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oof. Mentally, I'm aware this is all like my anxiety talking, but my thinking when I look up at that thing is on the day that I go and get in that little plexiglass area, the plexiglass will give way. No doubt. It will give way and I will plummet to my death.
Well, I'll give you this. As I was going up, we walk out of the elevator and they have like a stick out stand of the plexiglass and how thick it is. And it was wider than my hand. There was a guy trying to jump on it. Like he was like holding himself up, like he was climbing a wall. And he was just like, trying to shove it down and it wouldn't move. And then I went through the line a couple times to take different pictures from the plexiglass. The last time I was there was this dude who was taller than me. Remind yourself that it's at least a floor, the whole thing. So it's like 10, 11 feet. There was a guy, because they make you share the plexiglass with like another group. So I was by myself and this guy was by himself. And this dude kept jumping up and down and shoving himself from the top, trying to shove himself down to see how hard he could come down. And we didn't move. Like it didn't shake. I didn't move at all. And so it's pretty safe.
That's great. I'm glad. I'm so glad for you. I'm so glad.
But it was fun too. And it's 103 floors. Like it's just, you know.
That's why I didn't get up there. 103 floors.
If you reach out, you could probably touch our plane as it flew by.
You're talking to someone who didn't even kiss the Blarney Stone. I wouldn't even walk up to the Blarney Stone, and that's nowhere near as high as 103 floors.
Come on, you stood at the edge of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and both hands were on that railing, and it was very hard for me to move.
And then the wind blew.
Yeah, I slipped 50 feet back from the railing and thought I was going to die. I just envision myself sliding and not stopping and just going over.
Now,
plummeting.
The first place that we went to from the hotel after we checked in it, or after we got everything.
Buckingham Fountain.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm looking through my pictures.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Married with Children Fountain.
And I had no idea. Like I thought that was like some fountain in LA.
This is what I find funny about you is like, you know everything about shows and movies. You had no idea that was in Chicago. It's the most famous fountain.
But now I kind of understand why that show was so appealing, because it had like a Midwest feel to it, and it opens up with a Midwest fountain that's super famous.
Yes.
And we tried to recreate the shot. And then it's not very far from this fucking spaceship that is a bean. That's just this big bean mirror that Emma really wanted
Cloud
to see.
Gate is the sculpture. It's the bean.
Yeah, they just call it the bean. People pass underneath it. People.
Another thing you had no idea was in Chicago.
I didn't think I would ever care. It's a bean.
It's the bean. Everybody sees the bean.
It's a bean. Yeah, everyone sees the bean and walks underneath it, and people spit on it and then wipe it with their shirt to try and shine it up, and people trying to take their pictures with it and, you know, their reflection. But realistically, you just look like you're in a house of mirrors in those pictures, because I took one.
Yeah, well, that day, I think that was the warmest day we were there.
Mhm.
It was hot.
Mhm.
And there were so many people. For a Wednesday, it was really crowded at the Beanie Bean.
And it was a lot of tourists.
Yeah, it was very touristy.
And the Metallica crowd had not shown up yet.
No, they didn't start coming until Thursday night.
Yeah, from the time the pop-up shop opened, when I went to the pop-up shop, when you went to the pop-up shop, we had to go to Target back and forth to get food items. And I didn't trust the blanket in the bed. So we went and bought more blankets, because I was like, wow, this is like a rubber sheet. Yeah. And it was a great hotel, super clean and everything. It's just older. So it gives you that.
The people were great too that worked there. I don't think there wasn't a mean person there. Like I said,
as soon as I come off the elevator, all waving, hello.
I think they knew who we were by the time we left. Like I saw the same people all the time.
They were like that Nordic Swedish guy in Frozen. Mm-hmm. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Woohoo. We have some great stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were super nice. And when we checked into when we dropped off our bags in the hotel, they're like, you don't have to pay for it, but you might want to tip the guys who are holding on to your bags all day.
Yeah. And of course, I forgot to get cash. So I had to like run into the ATM, get cash.
But we had several hours for that.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. That was our first afternoon. We just kind of walked around, looked at the fountain. And that's from our hotel to all the way to Union Station. It's a walk. It's a mile.
Well, we didn't walk to Union Station, though. Union Station's in town, but we walked to the fountain, and that's like 3 blocks. We walked to the bean, which
it was a lot of walking, total.
There was like 3 blocks away from there. And then we decided to go down Michigan Avenue for a minute or so. And then we got on a train to go into town.
Yeah, I logged almost 8 miles on the first day.
Did not think we walked that much.
Yep. We walked about 8 miles.
You can't even climb on the bean.
Now you know why Emma was like all up in arms on day one, because it was like 8 miles of walking.
Yeah, we saw the Prudential building, which is, I don't think it's called the
Adventures in Babysitting Building?
Yeah, I don't think it's called the Prudential Building any longer, because there is a building really close that says Prudential on it.
Oh, maybe it's new.
So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they were starting preparations for the Democratic National Convention.
Oh, yeah, I believe.
They had all the signs up, they were putting the stuff up in the park, like Millennium Park and Grant Park.
Oh, yeah.
For obviously parties and things.
And already starting to reroute traffic out. It was like drop-off day. Like they were dropping off all the barricades and fencing and all that other stuff. Little to know, we had to walk through the same area to go to Soldier Field for the Metallica shows 2 nights in a row.
Oh, my God.
So that was a little rough. We're pretty close to the water. I mean, you could see the water from that fountain.
Oh, yeah. We were right on the lake.
Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah. We saw the Route 66 marker, the beginning of Route 66 by the Art Institute.
Yeah.
We were all over there. We were right by like the Art Institute, Millennium Park, Grant Park. We were right there. So if you want to go to Chicago and be right in an area where it's easy to get around, easy to maneuver the train system, South Loop. I recommend South Loop.
We forgot to mention that we had to walk like 4 blocks from the train to our hotel with Emma complaining the whole time about having to drag her bag. I'm like, you're not even dragging half my bag.
Yeah. Emma was born in Los Angeles, but she's never been back to a major city before. This is the first time she's ever been to a city where you have to rely on transportation and you have to know what you're doing and you got to pay attention to where you're going and look lively. So it was a learning experience, but I wanted her to get that knowledge, because if you can handle doing those things in a city, like getting your own transportation, catching a train, knowing where to go, you can do that anywhere in the world.
Well, she's done Washington, D.C., but we drove to a parking lot every day. And
Yeah.
then we parked all day.
Yeah.
Never made it to Congress just because that was a long walk through the mall.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was kind of a little bit of a learning experience. And also kind of getting her ready because she's going to go to Europe next summer. And it's going to be a lot of walking where she's going.
So by the time we did all that, then we wound back up at the hotel to check in.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I tip the guy? $10?
Yeah. Oh, we went up. We also were close to State Street, which is by the theater district. So we walked up by the Chicago Theater, took some pictures. Metallica pop-up was also on State Street. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was right across the street from the Chicago Theater, right across the street in like a block.
Yep.
But the Chicago Theater, seen in The Dark Knight,
Mm-hmm.
where they got denied their tickets to the Russian ballet.
Yeah.
That's where the box office was. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then we didn't know this before, but Harry Potter and the Cursed Child was playing at one of the other theaters. And Amanda was kind of bummed out about that.
Because I didn't plan this as a vacation. Back to that. We could have done a lot of things, but I didn't plan it as a vacation. But we did do some things. So that was a action-packed day one. At the end of the day, we were really tired and we just wanted something to eat and went to bed. So day two, we got in line for Metallica.
At 8 o'clock.
For the pop-up shop. This is just to buy a poster.
And it's literally in the middle of the Chicago area where all the plays are and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way Metallica's not spending like $25,000 on the space for 4 days.
No.
Maybe less. I don't know. But you know what's funny is like people were coming up to us in line asking us if Metallica was going to play a show in there.
Yeah, no.
No, it's just a store.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the only thing we bought that day were 3 shirts and a few patches and some pics because the posters were out by about 5 minutes after they opened.
No, they were out 5 minutes before we got to the front of the line, according to the people in the line.
Well, yeah.
So they said you missed it by like 5 minutes.
Mike was upset because we didn't.
Because we could have bought 3.
I know. Well, we didn't.
Oh, well. And then you have to listen to all the flippers walk out of the store going, these would be on eBay for $300 in 10 minutes.
And they probably were.
I don't think they're selling them for $300.
Oh, I don't know.
They might get that a couple years from now, but I think they're probably maybe doubling their money.
Yeah.
But who cares? Half of those people like brought their entire family and bought like 7 posters. And then then you'd watch them walk out and the people that were still standing outside are going, yeah, fuck, I'm not going to get a poster.
I do like the shirt because it's specific to Chicago. It's got the big angry grizzly bear on it.
And we've wasted no time. We've already taken the poster to have it framed.
Yeah, it is a nice poster.
To Jeremy, the guy that we talked to at the beginning of all this.
Previous guest Jeremy and his framing. He's going to do that for us, so that's good. So yeah, then I think we just walked around more of the same on day 2.
Day 2 is the day that I went and hung off the building.
Oh, it is. Yeah, Emma and I stayed on the ground and almost fell asleep as we were sitting there waiting because we were just tired. And then, I'm so sad. Emma wanted deep dish pizza, so I ordered Lou Malnati's, which is really good. It made Emma sick.
Oh, yeah.
It's too much. It was way too much. Honestly, I think it's because I ordered sausage, and sausage there is different on a pizza. It's like a flat layer on the pizza. It's like one large piece of sausage on it. So it was a little different. Not good.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, her tummy hurt. Oh, so after, yeah.
And that was a couple days later.
No, we ordered pizza. We got dinner. Oh, yeah. This was the day we got dinner. And then you wanted to go up to the Biograph that evening.
Oh, yeah, to see where the police killed John Dillinger.
Yeah. So we took the red line up to the Biograph, and you got pictures of that.
I took some pictures of the Biograph. Apparently, John Dillinger was killed in the back of in the alleyway of the Biograph because he snuck out, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the alley looked like the alley of a mall now. It was all, cream and taupe colored walls and like one trash can that was all brand new. And I was like, they preserved the front of the place to look so that everyone could come take their picture with the John Dillinger Theater.
Yeah.
And they had this big mural painted on the side of the building next to it, showing you that this is where John Dillinger died. And then there was a big ad in the middle of the mural for one of the restaurants in the area, which was really funny. But we made a trip just to go there.
And I don't think you weren't the only one taking a picture of that, because while you were taking a picture, somebody else walked up and was taking a picture of it. So and we'll talk about this, but the Marina Towers, while you were taking a picture when Em and I were waiting, somebody else walked up because they're so famous. So then we walked around the next day. Obviously,
this was concert
Friday was the first concert from Metallica. And I took a picture of the map from our hotel walking to Soldier Field. It was a 28-minute walk. It's a 28-minute walk one way from our hotel to Soldier Field. And honestly, the most direct way to get there.
And a $60 ride to the concert from one of those guys on a bicycle. I heard the guy talking about it. He's like, $60 for two. Well,
Yeah.
There was three of us.
I did do a little research before we went to see what was the best way to get from our hotel to Soldier Field. And everyone kept saying, just walk across the park. You'll have 100,000 people walking and it'll be fine.
Yeah. The only problem was the tunnel.
Yeah.
Everyone just gets corralled into the tunnel. And then there's these guys playing their
bottleneck of people. It is not great at all.
And then you got
bottleneck of people.
And then you got those guys banging on their Lowe's paint drums in the middle of it all. So half the people have to stop and listen. And then there was a chant of Green Bay sucks while we're walking through the tunnel, because all the Bears fans are walking out as well. And they're screaming Green Bay sucks. And Emma looks at me and just goes, why does Green Day suck? I'm like, no, they're saying Green Bay. But if you're not paying attention to where you're at, you're just like, well, it sounded just like Green Bay, Green Day. It's all the same.
I didn't realize how the Field Museum is literally right by Soldier Field. 20 steps and you're at
Called the Field Museum.
I know.
That's awesome. It's the Field Museum next to Soldier Field. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, I don't know why it's named the Field Museum.
Because it's all in the same field.
I don't think so. Is that really why? Do you know that, or are you just guessing?
It's called Soldier Field, and then it's called the Field Museum.
Well, it's Shed Aquarium, which is also right there.
Yeah. But it's all the same. Yeah, so go ahead and Google, why is it called the Field Museum? Just type that in just the way it sounds. But it's a great big museum. Soldier Field was enormous.
The hall is named for Stanley Field, nephew of the founding museum benefactor, Marshall Field.
And why is it called Soldier Field then? Aren't no soldiers in Chicago? I don't know. I'm not from Chicago.
I don't know. We'll find out.
But during the day, while she's looking all that up, during the day, dragging them around to more Batman locations, we took the shots of the place where Batman meets Joker after he rode his bat cycle and roped the big diesel rig and flipped it over. And then the Joker jumps on Batman's head and tries to jump him, and then gets arrested by Gary Oldman. Took that shot with the clock. If you just face the other direction, that is actually where they crashed that truck. And if you go half a block down, that's where they shot that scene where after Lieutenant Gordon, they think he died and they held his funeral procession. It's right there, just on the other side. It's like they just flipped the cameras around. Now it's nighttime. Let's shoot the night shots.
Well, that's easy. By the way, Soldier Field was originally named Municipal Grant Park Stadium, but was renamed on November 11th, 1925 to honor U.S. soldiers who died in World War I combat.
World War I, wow.
So there you go. That's the name of it.
And now allegedly the Bears aren't going to be playing in Soldier Field in a couple of years.
Yeah, build a new one.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll call that.
No idea. So we go into the stadium, we see Metallica. It's great. I stand by Metallica is probably the greatest rock concert, and I love Dave Grohl. Let me say that. Metallica is the best rock concert I've ever been to. Hands down.
So funny you'd never thought about going to a Metallica concert till I told you to go to
and when we
Rock
went,
on the Range.
Yeah, when we went to Sonic Temple, they played probably not even a minute, and my mouth was on the floor, and I was like, this is awesome. They're awesome.
Emma has never seen us at a concert that we wanted to go to before. First thing out of Emma's mouth on the second song, Daddy, are you going to stand up the whole show? And then by the time they started playing Blackened, and I goof around with this lyric and I go, bring on the Kraken. I say crack and my voice has already gone out because I've been screaming so much. So I'm like, bring on the crack. And that's it. And I was like, you need to save your voice for Sunday. I'm like, forget it.
I know. Woo.
I don't care. What's the point of going to a rock show if you're not going to lose your shit?
Yeah. So that show, we made good time coming back, despite the fact that it was 100,000 people walking in the exact same direction to get out of that stadium.
We were out and at the cookie stand in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's from our seats. Now, Soldier Field took me by surprise because there's no way to get out of Soldier Field from the back.
I don't know where people park because we came in from the park direction, so you can't see where the parking area is for that. It's literally south of it, I think.
Well, we saw that one group of people pull in right before we get to the stadium where you saw the Metallica Cybertruck. Mm-hmm. Those people were parking.
Yeah.
Obviously, and they were making a right turn, so all the parking must be on the other side. And I imagine like some of the parking that we walked through that looked like it was all handicap parking, that's all the handicap parking for regular visitors to the museum/football games. But almost every football stadium I've ever been into has like those rounded walkways to come out, so you can come out from the top. This did not have it.
Did not.
So if you were sitting in like section 1002 all the way up there at the top, you had to walk down all those flights of stairs.
Yeah, like us.
And it was, we weren't that far up, but it's steep.
Yeah, and it's so steep. When I was sitting I did get aisle seats, so we were like the first 3 seats of the row. There were several people that I felt like I had to reach out and help up. They were like halfway. Clearly they were
only a third away to their seats.
Yeah. There was one woman who was like, I physically can't look up because it's so steep. I can't move. I'm like, go, just look at your feet. Don't look up. Just look at your feet. You got this.
Well, on Sunday,
so many people were just like out of breath or could not
because they're all our age and overweight and from Chicago or Wisconsin.
Had a big Chicago dog in one hand and a beer in the other. And like, woo, I can't make it.
All I know is that on Sunday when I came up after every booth had run out of pretzels, hot dogs, and I'm not kidding, we're out of soda. I come walking up the stairs with 2 pretzels from the one booth that still has pretzels. I get like 4 steps up. Some woman is sitting in the aisle or sitting on the step because she's like, I can't climb any longer. I'm like, this is only step number 4.
Get up.
You still got like, from what it looks like, 37 more steps to go. I was like, and you're in my way and people are coming down the other side. And for some reason, we had the exact same seats both nights.
Well, yeah, that's how it works.
On Sunday, every time I went down the stairs, I'd come up or no, it was Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was Sunday. I kept coming up the wrong one and then having to walk across all those people and then watch you 2 giggle.
I know. That was funny. So that was good. We went to the cookie store and then went home and went to bed promptly.
$36 worth of cookies.
Oh, my gosh. But they were good. Y'all ate them real quick.
Yeah, because we were hungry more than anything else because guess what? Home cooking is just as good. They're still warm. They're still chocolate chip. They didn't put anything special on it. Like we didn't get the ones with the ice cream cakes or any frosting or nothing. We just got
because it's hard to agree when you're 3 people and the line is out the door and you got to make a decision.
Plus, we only thought we were going to get 3 cookies. And then Emma's like, I thought we were getting 3 each. And then that became 4 each because 9 doesn't make sense. And the deal is for 12.
Oh my God. So the next day we decided to take a little walk up Michigan Avenue, which is another mile to 2 miles.
Oh, we went
all the way up.
We went to the Lego store.
Tower.
It was 3.3 miles on our GPS app. It said 3.3 miles, and we walked the whole thing like idiots.
We logged at least 8 miles a day when we were there.
We logged 8 miles back and forth on that trip alone. We went to Lego store.
Yes, where
I spent $9.
Yes, I know. You didn't even spend a lot of money. You just had to go to the Lego store and pick out some odds and ends.
Some stuff that I haven't seen at the Lego store here.
Some mountain pieces, I believe, is what you got.
Yeah, and some bricks that looked like wall bricks.
Oh, so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So exciting. And I should say, we did pass the hotel that we'll be staying when we go back to Chicago. But
nice.
I'll get to that at the end of this. Ugh.
We did that, and we went to the pier.
Yeah, we walked from there all the way over to the Navy Pier. So no wonder it was like 10 miles in that day because it was a whole bunch of walking.
And then we walked all the way up to the tip of the pier and came all the way back. Mm-hmm. And then we finally decided on the train because at this point now it's Saturday and Emma's like, my hips hurt, my feet hurt.
Well, and she was hurting so bad.
Yeah.
And all she wanted to do was go to the Medieval Torture Museum.
Yes, right next door to the Chicago Theater that we saw it 2 days before. She was all excited. She wanted to go to the Torture Museum.
Not the Field Museum, not Shed Aquarium, the Medieval Torture Museum, which is pretty much like a wax museum, but for torture.
With the cheapest wax figures ever. They look like they let a 7th grade class make their mannequins.
I was highly entertained.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was.
When they asked us what we thought of it on the way out, I'm like, it was funny.
People were terrible back then.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Spanish Inquisition stuff. A lot of, the Catherine wheel was represented. I knew what that was. And there was one, it was a big iron bull and they stuck people inside it and then smoke came out the bull's mouth.
And then when the people gasped for air and stuck their mouth by that bull's mouth, the bull made a noise.
Gross.
They literally roasted people in this thing. No joke.
What was funny is Emma was adamant that we go to this museum. She was like, this is where I want to go. If we have to decide one thing, it's the torture museum for me. So I was like, all right. So we get there. By the second room where they're dunking the witch, she's like,
this is creeping me out.
This is creeping me out. I don't want to be here. Like, you're going to look at this torture. You're going to see the devices where they cut off fingers. You're going to look.
How about that one thing where they split women in half?
Oh, it was gross. It was so gross. People are awful, all in the name
of Christ.
Of religion.
Oh, a lot of it was Christian. It even stated on the thing that this is Christian, this was evangelicals.
It was horrifying.
I love that gossip flute thing where they lock those women's hands.
They lock up women by their arms that gossip, or it was for slander and gossip. And they had one, it was like a double one, where if two women were fighting, they would hook them together. So they'd have to sit next to each other all day long.
And stare at each other. But yeah, the gossip flute was great. They locked both of your hands like directly in line right in front of your neck, which they also locked up, and all you could do is sit there and stare at your hands.
They had a very Monty Python-esque, and I don't doubt that it was used and it was real, scale to tell if someone was a witch or an ogre or a goblin. Everyone was a witch. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, I know. On the scale, that's true, huh? Witch, goblin, troll.
You're always a witch.
Yeah,
there's never going to be anything else.
There's no such thing as goblins or trolls, but they're on the scale.
Terrible. So if you're in the mood for something way off the beaten path in Chicago, I highly recommend the Medieval Torture Museum.
And we were there on Saturday, which is like
It was crowded.
Yeah, because it was the height of their touristy thing.
It was crowded.
And we're starting to see all the Metallica fans wearing their T-shirts from the night before everywhere. Yeah. It's like Black T-shirt city.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like Metallica has gotten to the point now where they're selling everything. They're steps away from selling a Metallica coffin like Kiss.
I don't think they'll go that far.
Metallica lipstick. What else? I mean, they sell guitar picks. They sell all their old shirts. I mean, like everything. They sell Yetis and a Yeti cooler. I remember the first day when we were at the Metallica store, people didn't get the posters. Like, I might as well spend my money on the Yeti then because it's the same price, $45. So I don't know how they didn't run out of Yetis because it says Yeti really big and yellow. And that's the other problem with like the newer Metallica stuff is it's so much yellow. So much yellow.
It is. I didn't care for the yellow.
So much yellow.
We did send you the next morning. You got in line super early and you did get your poster.
I did. Like I said, we haven't wasted any time. It's already being framed by Jeremy.
Yep. And so the next day after some torture, we went to the Marina condo towers, a.k.a. the Wilco Yankee Hotel Foxtrot album cover. So you could take a picture of that.
And I think I got a really good shot that looks just like the album cover if I put the right filter on it.
It does.
Or I've just yellow it a little bit or pull the color out.
Yeah. We really lucked out on weather too, because it was beautiful the whole time.
Oh, we would have been miserable doing all that walking.
Oh my God. It would have been miserable. And we walked around, little more fountainy shots and...
Yeah, because I didn't get my picture with the fountain, so I tried.
Yeah.
And then, of all things, Emma taught me how to use the panoramic thing on my phone camera correctly. She did it the first day when we went to the Sears Tower, so I could get a shot going straight up. But the panoramic only lets you go in one direction on your phone. So you have to do it in a certain way, and then it pops it out in a panoramic way, which is really cool. And then I could edit it down so it doesn't have to be so big. But
yeah. And then we took a train down to Chinatown.
That's right. Saturday. Did we go Saturday?
Sunday. It was before the concert.
Did we go Sunday before the show? We did go before the show.
Yes, we did. That was a lot of fun.
Emma's really into lots of things that are Asian. I'll say mostly
anime.
Anime stuff. I'll say mostly Japanese stuff. This is about as close as it's going to get in the United States. But she got to see some like really built pagodas and some really cool like, artwork and that kind of thing.
We had rolled ice cream, which she and I have wanted to try before.
It was interesting.
Yeah. And of course, we got our little junky trinkets like we do. And then we went to the Sunday night show. And then we had to leave in the dark the next morning.
And we had to walk 4 more blocks to the train station.
I don't recommend. And I was thinking this. Here, I'll start this. The concert ended. We were back in our hotel like 11:30, 12. We all had to shower. We had to pack because our flight was super early the next day. Don't do that.
After a show.
No, don't do that. And to get to the airport, we're going to take the train in the dark at 4:30 in the morning. Don't do that.
On Monday, when everyone's going to work.
Yeah, on a Monday. Don't do that. It was fine. We saw 2-3 rats, maybe.
Those are the only
half
ones
a block
I saw.
away after we got out of the door. I saw something move and I'm like, oh, wow, that is a rat. And then another one scurried by. I'm like, this is the time they're out, clearly. So I told Emma in my very stern mother voice at 4:30 in the morning when the sun is not yet up, you need to take that suitcase and walk as fast as you can 4 blocks to that train station. I don't want to hear it. I don't want any whining. You are going to go, go, go. You are not stopping. We're going.
And it was a great trip on the train, too.
It was fine.
Saw a dead guy on the train.
Oh, the dead guy was earlier in the weekend. We missed that part.
Oh, was it Sunday?
That wasn't going to the airport. That was on like a Saturday night when it was packed in that train. It was during the weekend. It was after the torture museum. Yeah.
I thought it was on the Red Line.
It was on the Red Line, but it was when we were coming back from the torture museum because I put Emma on the train because she couldn't walk anymore.
And how do I know it was a dead guy? It could have been a drunk guy, could have been something else. But I'll tell you how I knew it was a dead guy. The guy was like sleeping with his head like in the window sill area, and the train hit a bump and his body just went forward and his arms went forward. And then we stop at a stop, which was right before our stop.
I didn't see any of this, by the way. Mike saw all of it.
Emma saw some of this. But then another guy slapped him, like just punched him on the shoulder or something like that. And the dude didn't move. And I'm like, is this guy going to rob this other guy because he's passed out on the train? But no, then he started shaking the shit out of him. Like I could hear his head hitting the seat and his arms were just like flailing and his body wasn't moving or anything like that. And then this guy, next stop, hustles out of our whole train car just to go into a different car. And he's just like, that guy's dead. Unfortunately, this happens.
Well, yeah, you don't really see that often. So I hope they got to him. It was awful, but.
And the dude was in a hoodie with his hood pulled like all the way over his head and stuff like that. I mean, people literally could have walked by him for hours.
I know.
Without recognizing. They think he's just asleep.
I know. Well, that's why there are cameras in that train. So I'm sure that somebody got to him.
Saw something somewhere.
Yeah.
But we didn't see anyone rob anybody, but we did see some folks later at night that decided they needed to scream on the train.
Oh, yeah, there were some screamers.
Yeah, just walk from car to car. Can't understand them. Don't know what you're screaming about.
And as a woman, I know that I've always been taught, don't engage, don't look them in the eye, just keep looking down. because that's what you do.
Even though it was a woman doing the screaming.
Oh, yeah. No, she was in the street.
Oh, yeah. And that was when the police came to discuss with her why she's in the street
Because
screaming.
she was screaming and throwing around a backpack, which could be construed as, what do you got in
Attacking.
there? Yeah.
Eh.
What you got in that bag? So, yeah, they came and handled her, though, and took her away.
But we didn't see
It's
any
a city.
Yeah.
You're going to have that. So that was it. We made it to Midway. Fine. No problem. Chicago is great.
If you're a smoker, Chicago is not your town. Every city I've ever been in, you see the big signs, pack of cigarettes, $5, $7, whatever, $20 for one pack of cigarettes. I can't understand how people pay that.
Because they don't want you to. Don't. Yeah. It's not good for you.
It's so funny, though. $20, that's a meal. Even where we ate, that's a meal for one person or almost. It's definitely a meal for two at Subway.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
And some people go through 2 packs a day or more. Ugh. But if you're a smoker, move to Chicago, you'll quit because you've gone from paying 7 something plus whatever tax rate you're paying to $20.
So we made it back home. It took me about 3 days to recover because we literally did nothing all summer. And then now in August, it's been a cluster of entertainment.
Oh, yeah. And then we came home, unpacked our stuff just to turn around and go see the Struts on Tuesday. We're home Monday. We went to the Struts on Wednesday. So we were home Monday for the rest of the day because our flight arrived like at 8:30, 9 o'clock. We got our bags and we're in the car by 10. Had that whole day to recover. Next day, go see the Struts. Amanda talked us into getting VIP meet and greet passes.
So I had to stand in line for that.
So oddly enough, they tell you to show up, at 5 o'clock or something like that?
5 o'clock.
But the VIP meet and greet would start at 6, and then you would have free reign of the merchandise before the rest of the crowd gets in, technically from 6:45 to 7. Oh no, the band doesn't show up to the meet and greet until 6:30. Wasn't a lot of people in it. So, and here's the funniest thing of the whole thing. Earlier on in the summer, I made mention about how I was involved in Sam Ash's guitar sale because they're going out of business. Oh yeah, that was a scam. I had to contact the credit card company and get all the money refunded. So I didn't get these nice guitars that were like $600 and $700 for $99, which is totally what I expected. But at the same time, I thought they're going out of business. But if you're going out of business and you're Sam Ash, you could sell those guitars for $250, $300 to the people across the street over at Guitar Center. Why would you sell them for $99? Doesn't make sense, right? So now I'm in this line for the Struts with a Pelham Blue Epiphone Les Paul.
Not painted real well.
Yeah. Kind of like
saw some grain, some wood grain.
Just one pass over of
with
Pelham
an airbrush.
Blue. Yeah. With like a spray paint can. Spray painted my guitar Pelham Blue, slapped all the parts together, but the guitar's well. But just to have all the guys in the band make fun of me.
Yeah, they're like, oh, is that Pelham Blue?
That was pretty funny. Like, they're just like, what color is that? It shines differently in the light. Oh, that might be the wood grain, but it could be the Pelham Blue. What company makes that guitar? Epiphone. Doesn't Gibson make Epiphones? You think they would make a better product. British guys making fun of Gibsons, and they all play Gibsons. The guys in the band play Gibsons. Initially, for $99, I thought I was getting a Gibson Les Paul Gold Top.
No.
For $99.
No.
I paid $149 for the Pelham Blue and the jokes.
It was awful. They were nice, though. They were funny.
Yeah, it looks great.
It was a good show. I highly recommend the Struts. They're very entertaining. Very entertaining band.
And the band before them was called Is it Barnes Courtney or Barn Courtney?
Barnes Courtney.
Barnes Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
So
that guy was insane.
So we go to the show. There's a girl in the very front of the line in the VIP with a Barnes Courtney t-shirt on it. I have a friend named Courtney Barnes. I totally thought this was her. Except for she's about 15 years younger, but it totally looked like her and everything. And I had no idea who the opening band was. I almost went and talked to her and go, Courtney, hi, just to probably be just shoot away by going, no, that's the band that's opening for them, idiot.
Oh, that would be funny. I wish you had. That would have been hilarious.
And she lives in California, Why would she be at a show in Columbus, Ohio? But the shirt said Barnes Courtney huge on her shirt. And it looked like, because the band is younger, they don't have a lot of graphic design experience or anything like that, it looks like someone just screen printed it at home.
I'm sure
So
it's a very small outfit.
I totally thought this was Courtney and she just made a cheap ass shirt, or her kids did for her or something. I don't know. But the only thing we missed was the bright red hair as opposed to the duller red hair that she had, a little bit darker. Thank God I didn't do it.
That's pretty funny.
Then we go inside. I still haven't heard who the opening band was or anything like that. Then their big drapery comes down across the back. It says Barnes Courtney. And I'm like, oh, well, shit.
Oh.
Well, shit.
They were wild.
They were wild. And then I listened to them on Spotify and they really have like a Kings of Leon sound, but they were so far more energetic than Kings of Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were nuts. And it's been a while since I've seen the lead singer stage dive.
Oh, I know.
Because usually they've got you like 8 feet, even the front row where the barricade is, it's like 8 feet back. They'd have to get like a running start to make it. Not this guy. He totally did it. I mean, even when the struts, when the lead singer Luke walks out and he gets into the middle of the audience and everything like that, he jumps down. I knew he was jumping down because I saw the tour manager jump down like 2 songs before. I'm like, oh, he's going to come into the audience.
Yeah.
And then they both climb over the rail because they're a little bit older. And the bodyguard tour manager guy is even older than that. So it takes him a little time to get over the top.
Yeah.
Now, the funniest part of the whole evening, for this one anyway, was the woman with the handy cam.
Oh, yeah.
Some woman was videotaping the band. Like I'm used to seeing concert photographers with like state-of-the-art equipment, or maybe even like a couple years old equipment. Got longer lenses, shorter lenses. They got like 3 cameras. No, this woman just has a Sony Handycam. Looks like something that my dad purchased when I was 9. I'm 51 now, so you could think about how old that camera is. She's running back and forth for Barnes Courtney.
I know. It doesn't roll off the tongue
It
either,
doesn't.
which is weird.
I wonder if that's the guy's name.
No,
I'm imagining
it's
it's
a dumb name.
a person in the band's parent because she was older, like our age. She was older, but you know, she's like our age and her kid's older. Yeah. So, but then from initially, I thought it was a real photographer. Like I just thought like, you know, I had even posted on my Facebook page and people were like, oh, people are into that retro look and stuff like that. I'm like, no, this is a handy cam. There's no way it has like a good zoom lens. No way it gets a bunch of stuff. Then this woman busts out a Sony Cybershot, one of those little 12.1 megapixel cameras. And she's taking little pictures like grandma takes right before everyone blows out the birthday candles. I couldn't help but just die laughing for like 3 songs.
It's probably his mom.
I know. Making fun of her. I'm making fun of her to our audience of 12.
They were great, though. They did a good job.
Yeah, but it was cute. I hadn't seen a handy cam in a while.
No.
And I know no one professional shoots with a handy cam. The funniest part is like I posted on my Facebook page, I have some friends that are rock photographers, and they're like, oh, this didn't happen to you with the Struts, was it? I'm like, yeah, it was actually. It was for Barnes Courtney, but same show. And she's like, oh, yeah, I saw that woman. She was in my way. So someone thinks they're entitled.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a mom.
Aw.
And she was the only one that no backstage passes around her neck, no nothing. Like photographers and guys that work with bands and stuff like that, they wear like every backstage pass they've ever owned. They wrap all of them around their neck just to show off who they worked for before. If they've got like one that says Madonna World Tour, they're so happy to put that out front. Or AC/DC or Metallica or something like that. They're so happy to put that out front just so you know how important they are that they worked for Metallica once.
Yeah.
But this woman had no passes. So I don't know. I thought maybe she was one of us and snuck over the wall or jumped the fence or whatever. But now you know why we had no show last week.
Yeah. I know.
It's
done. Been busy. And now we're gearing up for Chicago Part 2. So we're going to go and see Pearl Jam at Wrigley.
At Wrigley Field.
Because, and I have a bone to pick with these 2 bands, picking the same time frame, August, for both huge shows. But that's the way it ended.
I don't think they expect the same people to show up at both.
What
Like
happened?
Metallica says, our fans expect
And
things
once
heavy.
again, this is your birthday gift because Eddie Vedder knows to have a show right around your birthday, apparently, because it happened the last time we saw Pearl Jam. Was your birthday.
Yeah, now we have to travel to see all these shows because guess what? No one wants to play Columbus.
But luckily, we still have our Ventra cards from our first Chicago trip.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any days left on it. We got to pay him again.
Yeah, we'll just put some more money on
Wow,
it.
so I have like a piece of plastic in my wallet that has to stay there for 5 weeks.
Wow. It makes us look like we're world travelers. We're all ready to go. Anyway, so we're going back. We'll get into some shenanigans again, I'm sure.
No, now I'm going to make you go back to all those Batman locations, but
No.
now we're going to film it. We're not going to shoot it with
No.
like still cameras so that we could start my show about going to iconic movie locations.
And I will get you, make sure you have your own pass in your pocket and you can just walk right out and get the train. And
Lazy ass.
I'm not going back to those places.
You don't have to go back to all of them. We just have to go to the post office because I think we got the wrong shot anyway for the opening of Dark Knight.
No, we didn't, because I keep telling you that was the right angle. That is the
Right,
building.
But if we come around,
They CGI'd the train into that shot.
I'm telling you, if we come around the other side of the building, we'll get the exact same right and left, and the train is behind us. It was behind us the whole
Not
time.
how it is in the movie.
Well, we'll find out.
All you got to do is pull a frame from the movie and that shot, and it lines up.
No, the windows don't line up.
Yes, it does. They redid the bottom of it.
And they're building the train underneath. That's what they're building underneath. There is a thing for the train. That's what that is. It's not a parking garage to a post office. It's not even a post office anymore. The post office has moved across the street now.
Yes, I know.
And now it's all right.
Can't wait. So that is our summary,
Of a week.
long-winded summary of where we've been and what we've been doing.
For a week.
for a
That's
week.
it. That's all it was a
It
week.
felt like a year.
I hope not.
It did. It felt like a year.
I think we put out about 20 miles walking in
Mhm.
Chicago.
Yes.
Just walking the same street.
This time I'm getting a Chicago hot dog, damn it.
This time I don't need any Chicago souvenirs. I don't need an Al
You
Capone
didn't need
t-shirt.
one the first time.
Oh yeah, we're going to go to those Al Capone locations.
You wouldn't even have known that if I hadn't told
That's-
you where
why-
the Valentine's Day Massacre
I
was.
didn't know that. But I did know that like I was looking up Al Capone hangouts, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was already overwhelming us with all the walking for
Yes.
Batman shots and driving or riding the bus across town for Dillinger's murder,
Mm-hmm.
where the police caught him and killed him because he wouldn't give up.
You need to pare down your thing because this is a quick trip.
I know,
Very, very quick.
but it's only two of us, so no one will complain. You complain all the time.
We shall see.
There's something to do. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
Stop. Whiner. Whiner.
All right.
Well,
We've had enough.
there's our week.
That's the week, people.
And that's why we missed you last week.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll see what comes up next. So and I know you people have junk drawers. I'm just going to put this out there. You all have junk drawers and you all have shit inside it. So email me about the crap in your junk drawer and let's talk about it. Okay? You can email me, mybigfatjunkdrawer@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. Let's talk. Let's chat. Get on the podcast. It's fun, I swear.
And subscribe and like this podcast
Yeah,
wherever you're
subscribe,
listening.
like, share.
So Amanda can go, I got a 9th subscriber.
Mhm.
Or wait, you said 11 last
I have 17. Thank you.
17.
I know. So we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.